Hey guys, this is Jake Stefanich from SparkBMXTraining.com, and today I'm going to show you the very basics of squatting. Now I'm going to do a three-part video series. Today's just the very basics of squats. The next one will be the finer details of squatting, and then the third video will be some of the variations of squatting to kind of keep it interesting and challenging. But today's just the very basics. I'm going to go over showing you how to squat, like if you've never squatted before, you have no experience, or if you're trying to teach someone how to squat properly. Okay, so when we're learning to squat for the first time, typically we do this with just body weight. And actually sometimes even throwing a small weight in there will make it easier, but we'll get to that in a second. So a lot of times, this is what I see the very first time when people squat and they don't understand where their knees should be and everything. They kind of do something that might look like this. They'll kind of curl their back, their knees will come together, something weird like that. Kids a lot of times will just drop down real quick. So a lot of times I use a band to teach squatting. This really clears any issues up very quickly. So just a light band around the knees, and if you don't have this, someone could stand in front of you and just kind of push on your knees and make them reactively open up their hips. So tell them to open up their hips, or if you have the band on there, you can cue break the band. So, spread that band apart, and people will go from here to here. And then a lot of times I like to put something behind them. So we'll take a chair or anything like that. I'll use this bench while I'm down here. Have their feet about hip width apart, kind of wherever their feet go. Sometimes a good way to find the good position to put your feet in, tell them to jump 3 times. Just like that, wherever they land, that's where they're going to squat from. That's usually a comfortable position for them. So they'll start like this a lot of times, tell them to break that band. And now from here, think about kind of sitting back, keep those hips open, chest up. And then you can put the arms out in front of you to kind of counterbalance. So it'll look something like that the first few times. Let them kind of feel that the hips open up, try to spread that band apart, and just do some reps like this. Alright, so if they're still having trouble getting it, another thing that we'll often see is people getting way up on their toes when they squat. Their knees will come way over their toes, and they'll say, a lot of times they'll say that their knees hurt when they squat. But the problem is they tend to shift their weight way too far forward. So you can either say, get your weight back. I'll say, feel your whole foot on the ground, put the weight right in the middle of the foot. I'll ask them, can you feel your heels, can you feel your toes? Things like that. If they're still not getting it, you can take a couple, like I just have some plates here, something a ½ inch or so tall, put their heels up on it. Get in that same kind of hip width position, heels up on it. Have that band around their knees still, or be pushing on their knees. Then have them try to squat back to a bench, tap their butt to the bench and come back up. Reach out, tap. If they're still not getting it, you can try a little bit of a weight. Alright, so this is just a 15-pound kettlebell, something really light. You can use a dumbbell. Doesn't matter, you can use a book or anything. Something that just has a little bit of heft to it. But just putting it in their hands will help kind of just turn that anterior core on a little bit and clean up some of the squatting technique. So you're going to put all 3 of these techniques together. Spread that band, heels up on the plates, and put a weight out in front of you. Squat back. Try to, you would want to say, keep that chest up. I want to be able to read your shirt. Like if they had a logo on your shirt, tell them I want to read that logo. Here, and come back up. So spread that band, sit back, open up the hips, chest up. And by now they should be getting that squat technique to look pretty good. It's not very often that you see someone that can't squat after all these things. Sometimes if they have very long femurs, they'll have a hard time. They'll feel like they're going to tip over, and a lot of times those people need to go a little bit wider with their stance and really cue that, open up the hips on that. So you take that band off. Probably keep them up on the plate, open up their hips, have them sit back, and just get used to feeling this. They may need to come a little bit forward with that chest, where someone with short femurs would be able to sit more upright. So have them sit back and do it, open up the hips, chest is going to come a little bit more forward. That's the very basics of squatting. That usually does it for 95% of the people I train. Hope this helps. Be looking out for part 2, the very fine details of squatting.